all committee meetings are open to the public. Therefore, please note that this submission is open to the public and the media, and is also being aired via the parliamentary channel on Walesi and streamed live on the Parliament's social media platforms. For any sensitive information concerning the matters before us that cannot be disclosed in public, this can be provided to the committee either in private or in writing, and encourage the town council, if you do feel that some matters are of a nature that cannot be disclosed, please just highlight and we'll take that on board. However, please be advised that under Standing Order 111, there are only a few specific circumstances where there's allowance for non-disclosure, and those include national security matters, third-party confidential information, personnel or human resource matters, and the committee's deliberation and development of the committee's recommendations and reports. This is, of course, a parliamentary meeting, and all information gathered is covered under the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. However, just for noting that we do not condone any slander or libel of any sort, and we encourage the information that is brought to the committee be based on facts. In terms of the protocol for today, in terms of the committee meeting, we encourage the minimal use of mobile phones and recommend that they be on silent mode during the progress of the meeting. And I wish to also remind our honorable members and our guests that all questions are obviously directed through the chair. At this time, I'd like to introduce the members of the Public Accounts Committee who are on my immediate right, and Honorable Chavez there, who is also the Deputy Public Accounts Committee Chairman, Honorable Albik Maharaj and Honorable Hemchan that are present here today. We are 6 in total. Honorable Naisatu Nadeva is returning from the UK on duty travel, and also Honorable Sachidanand, who is on another committee at the moment, moving around Fiji. That's from the committee side. Basically, in terms of structure, I'll now invite the members of the Town Council to introduce themselves to the panel, to the Public Accounts Committee, and then we'll follow that up by Auditor General's Office, and then we'll move into the meeting proper. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the introduction, and thank you, honorable members, for being here with us today. My name is Ben Naidu, and I am the chairman of the Special Administrators of the Levuka Town Council. On my right is my SA Nemani, and I'll put the floor to him to introduce himself. Naka.
Thank you very much, sir, for this very kind words of introduction. My name is Nemani Maraiwai, and I am a special administrator, as the chairman has said, for Levuka. This is our 3rd year shouldering these responsibilities. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good morning, honorable members and representatives from the council. My name is Moshin Ali, Assistant Auditor General.
Thank you, gentlemen. Just before we hand over to you to present, today's committee hearing will be on, of course, the Levuka Town Council, which is why you're here, and it is in relation to audit report on municipal councils, PP number 183 of 2024, and in particular the audit of the town council's accounts from that 2016 to 2018. And before us, of course, we do have the representatives who have introduced themselves, and also the Auditor General. Again, we'll now we'll welcome everybody, and I'll now hand over to the representatives from the Levuka Town Council to go through the presentation, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to bring more clarifications to the questions that were sent to us from the Secretariat of the PAC. The first area which we were queried on pertains to accounting systems and software, and it requests us to demonstrate which financial and administrative software systems are currently in use at the Levuka Town Council. Sir, we don't have, at present, any accounting system and software, automated system. We do not have it. This is because of very obvious things. The cost of this is quite expensive and demanding, and our economy of scale and our revenues just does not enable us to purchase these systems. But so we also balance this by saying that the Ministry of Local Government, our Minister and Permanent Secretary and Director, have discussed this on numerous occasions. So there is an initiative which is motivated by a vision for us to purchase collectively a system. So the Minister of Local Government, our line ministry, is negotiating with some vendors along these lines for the considerations of purchasing a soft logic system to be implemented across municipalities. So if that is successful, then that will pave the way forward in relation to that. So at this particular juncture, sir, all our systems are manual. Thank you. We move on to the second area that we've been asked to query. It's
Chair, just an update with the central system that the ministry is proposing. Any update or when it's going to come into effect?
Thank you very much, sir. I don't know the answer to that question. The ministry is better placed to answer that. But it's been discussed at the special administrators meeting very regularly, and we discern that the attitude is serious for this purchase because the obvious good it will bring. It will replace the manual systems, which has a higher margin of error. We move on to a related matter.
Through you.
Thank you.
At the very outset, I would like to actually put this on record that it's quite, I would say, unfavorable situation for Levuka Town Council to have special administrators sitting here before Public Accounts Committee to give an answer. This basically shows there's a systematic issue that we don't have a CEO or the financial manager or a proper accounting department at Levuka. We have been dealing with Levuka Town Council for a while now, and being a very small council, it's very difficult for the council to manage its day-to-day affairs. And we have actually seen at most of the time that the special administrators, they have to step in to basically devote their personal time and effort towards, if not, I can say even funding as well, to ensure that Levuka Town Council operates in the manner that it should be. Now, having said that, and with the software system not in place, my first query goes to Office of Auditor General. The 13 queries that are raised, are they all related basically because we don't have a system? We do understand as to why the Levuka Town Council don't have a system, and we don't blame Levuka Town Council for not having a system. And rightfully pointed out by Honorable Vodea that there is a delay from ministry because Public Accounts Committee has been pushing this for past close to around 8 years now, that we need to have a centralized system in all the councils, municipal councils. But there is a delay, and we're not too sure. We have seen that some of the municipal council, they have actually veered out to buy their own system, while the system is still in the pipeline. But are these 13 issues related to the fact that there is no system and everything is done manually? And that's one of the reasons we have been coming up before I proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, through you. My response to that query, Honorable Member, is not really. It's related to for them not to have a accounting software. Prior to entities having software, everything was done manually. So keeping manual records, proper ledger books, proper bank statements, proper payment vouchers would ideally help us or support the financial statement and then for query. I would not say that software is the root cause of all these issues. There are people issue also not having qualified people on board, turnover of offices in the municipality that has related to all this, not specifically related to the software.
Thank you, Office of Auditor General. Having said that, now I come to my second point, which is HR. Right. We do even realize, and we have seen over the number of years, that Levuka Town Council doesn't even have the funds to have a fully fledged accounting department. And those people actually joining in Levuka Town Council, there's a high turnover. Some of them, they actually tend to move away from Levuka or from the island of Overlau within 2 or 3 months. So there's a high turnover that people, they don't want to go and work in Levuka because of the isolation that and geographical location of Levuka. So I think we do understand, and having been part of PEC for a while, I do commend the special administrators for the work that they are basically doing. Like we have seen, there is no software, HR is an issue, and thirdly, as I said, most of the time we see special administrators doing basically what is supposed to be done by the paid staff. So hats off to the special administrators of Levuka Town Council. And I think it's basically the patriotism and the love for Levuka Town that you people actually have as special administrators, that you are actually ensuring that Levuka Town Council is still going on. We have actually seen it came to a point in past few years that basically Levuka Town Council would have actually collapsed if it wasn't for the special administrators doing what they are actually doing for the Levuka Town Council. I just wanted to put this on record, having a good background information as to what's happening at Levuka Town Council. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chairman, please allow me to comment on Honorable Maharaj's comments. If you can allow me to digress from there, please. What Honorable Maharaj has just alluded to is the fact. In fact, myself and Mr. Nemani, we have been running the town council for a while. He's been on for 3 years, and I have been on for about 8 years now. And it is a fact that, we're not flattering ourselves, but it's a fact that if we leave, then to operate the council, for the council to run in Levuka, it will be quite tough. The thing is that, Honorable Chairman, is that the interest that whoever is responsible, whether it be the central government, that the interest in growing Levuka is not there. History has already pinpointed that we need a leader for our community, not only for Levuka and Overlau, but the whole of the Lomaiviti province. You see, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think the Lomaiviti province is the poorest out of the 14 provinces in Fiji. We're all the way down there. Excuse me. We have got all the resources, but the interest shown is very little. The two of us, we live in Levuka, and we see the day-to-day affairs of what's happening. Levuka had a population of about 14,000 people living on Overlau. Today, it's about 9,600. even the islands of Lomaiviti, for example, Nairai, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a few years down the line, Nairai had about 1,500 people. I was in Ngau last week, and I was talking to people. They said, "Oh, we are sitting less than 500 now, and people are moving in." So where are these people moving into? They're clogging up the Suva to Nosori corridor, clogging up the Suva to Nosori corridor. When we come to the portion of good governance or the areas where we, the special administrators, are given some time to speak, I will come back at that juncture and elaborate a little bit more on a solution to that, please. This ongoing problem that we are facing, Vinaka.
Chair, through you. It seems that the high staff turnover is contributing to a lot of issues. So what is Levuka Town Council doing in regards to this to retain staff? At the moment, I think staffing is a big issue. When I say staffing, qualified people for the job. So what is council doing about this?
Thank you, honorable member. To answer that, I must say that we have had 3 interviews, 2 of most recent interviews to interview or bring in qualified people to run the town council as CEOs, the CEO position. However, on the second round of interview, we could not find the right person. On the third round of interview, we still could not find the right person. So really, in essence, nobody wants to go to Levuka and stay there and take the position of either the CEO or even to come in as an accountant, a qualified accountant. People don't want to go there. And the reason being is that the interest is not there because Levuka has got very little things to offer. It was lucky that we have personally, I'll declare my interest here, that we went and started opening Levuka up. Otherwise, for the last, Chairman, can you allow me to declare my interest, please? I know I'm on public record here, and I want to say that if it wasn't for me and my family to go back to Levuka, the place would have just spiraled right down. And today, that 9,600 people that are there, that would have even gone further down. So we managed to open the club up, we managed to open a service station up, we managed to open a few shops up, then we managed to encourage government to open a new market, to do our $3 million market. And there's various other things we're trying to do. But on our own, we can't. It's become very personal. Even right up to the mortuary that was down for 3 years, went and personally did it and fixed it up. And it's operating now. It's got 3 berths now. It wasn't, and it's not only for the people of Levuka, but it's for Lomaiviti as a whole. So like it's as though we are running the whole place ourselves. It's very emotional, but I must share this with you, honorable members, so you'll understand where we come from. We need assistance. We need some people we need government to go and assist us. So that's where we stand. I'm talking here from an ailing town who needs some help. I hope I've answered your question, Honorable Chand.
Thank you, Chair. You are saying that people are not interested. The other reason could be salary, attractive salary for the CEO and the other positions. So is council planning to relook at the salary of the CEO and the other positions, maybe through proper job evaluation exercise?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Hemchan. One of my responsibilities in council, it has below the full board 2 board subcommittees, and I chair both because there's 2 of us. So the one that captures that is the board subcommittee on finance and human resources. And it is absolutely true, sir. When we find, for example, the salary that would attract a competent CEO to come and work in a very complex area for Levuka Town Council now, we are not able to pay them the right salary. And that is a general principle that cascades down the line. So as a result, because of our inability to attract them by giving them the right remuneration, we get people who replace those positions with very major gaps in their skill sets. And the rest, is obvious to work out. So we need, again, assistance in that area. The council revenue model is unable to pay top dollar to get in those people. But when we do an environmental analysis of the systems within Levuka, it's very complex right now. So it needs a very mature type of talent to come in to try and straighten up the line and columns within that organization. So that is where we're at. You're absolutely true. We need some assistance to up the remuneration and attract the right talent. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, through you, just another comment on what's being discussed at the moment. Now we actually see that all other public departments, they are running in Levuka. It's not an issue. The issue arises, first of all, Levuka Town Council doesn't have that kind of funds to pay for CEO. But when it actually comes to a CEO role, I'll give a typical example. Let's say, for example, a head teacher in a medium-sized school has the same salary as a head teacher of a medium-sized school in Overlow. A general practitioner practicing as a GP in CWM has the same salary as the GP practicing in in the hospital in Levuka, at Levuka Hospital. But when it comes to the CEOs, because it's supposed to be privately funded by the council, and the council is a small council, so there is the disparity that the CEOs that are actually getting the salary in mainland is not the same salary that is actually given to either the CEO, finance manager, and all those things. That's why Levuka Town Council is not able to attract good people. If the salary of a CEO, let's say for example, Nosori Town Council CEO is similar to a Levuka Town Council, we might be able to attract somebody to go to Levuka. At least for not a very long period of time, but at least for a 3-year contract. But that is one of the things that I think at the policy level that needs to be addressed to ensure that Levuka Town Council starts attracting people who are capable of running a council. Thank you.
Chair, I just want to add to what Honorable Maharaj has just said. The other thing that could be done in order to attract good people will be location allowance, because it is a maritime area. So on top of the salary, if allowance could be given, location allowance, I think that will also attract good qualified people. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Through the chair, this is absolutely correct. I think there are various ways to remodel the total remuneration package, the total RAM for this. But the fundamental intention is to attract them over. There is not only one remuneration model, and you mentioned one clearly, and that is the one. But in terms of positioning that to attract the right talent, Levuka Town Council needs the help of government, not only in money, but in support and attitude and all that. So, thank you.
The rest of the question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. The second area of query is evidences of integration of this software automated system. Sir, this comes off our first answer that we don't have a system. The bookkeeping system, the manual system we have, is not integrated for very obvious reasons. That's the answer to that query, sir. If we move on to the next one, it begins to query how council shows records of systems updates and the identification of responsibilities for maintenance. So, as we've said, our system is manual. So the assumption is that we have an automated system, which we've clearly, Chairman, we don't. So the current systems are manual related, and of course, there's a margin of error always at every time. We try to do our very best, but there are vulnerable points in this manual system which compromises the whole integrity and so on. Thank you. On to the what documentation exists to confirm staff training in this system. Again, sir, this is, with all due respect, predicated on the assumption that we're doing training for that software system. We don't, because we don't have the system. The trainings that we do are very specific, tailored to these manual systems at the moment, sir. Thank you very much. So if you move on to the second area of query, which is under staff loan advances, and it queries us whether there is a policy or policies that represent and govern the staff loan advances. So we do have a policy within Council that guides and controls and regulates the advances, and I have a copy of it here, sir. And this is what we comply with and what we follow. Moving on, can Council provide evidence of the current outstanding balance of staff loan on advances and recoveries? So the current staff balance at the moment, which has one for very obvious reasons who requested for this. So he requested, at the moment, I think he's paid 2 payments, so it's about 150 to go. That is all. So we made an assessment earlier on in the day because of our cash flow situation, so we're rather conservative. So we screen very carefully the request from staff who have to write to us to request for these staff loans, and it's been working well. So we ratio it against our cash flows and encourage our staff to be also very careful of their net wages and salaries.
Just adding on to that, Honourable Chairman, we've just recruited a new health inspector. So the health inspector will be going through later on this week. However, the health inspector that we've recruited, although he has got a degree in environmental health, he does not have enough money to take him through to Levuka, and he hasn't got enough money to kick him off, to start him off in Levuka. He hasn't got enough cash to pay for his rent or buy his food. So therefore, we are advancing him the money. We are advancing him the money. He signed the contract with us. We were advancing him 2 weeks of pay to enable him to come into Levuka and settle there and start working for us. Once he starts working, then we will deduct $50 a fortnight from his pay. So we have to do that. If we don't do that, then this person will not come. So then the health inspector's job has to be done maybe by us. You know, that's what's been happening. So, so these are the ways we treat cash advances, and then we deduct it off. It's all very transparent, and the quantum of money that we give out to is very small. It's not a huge amount that will impact the town council's balance at all. Chair.
Chair, through you, the issue raised by the Auditor General was the supporting documents for loans and advances. So for those 3 years, 16, 17, 18, they were not provided with supporting documents. I hope you have kept the supporting documents intact so that it can be produced for audit purposes, so for allow for transparency in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member, through Chair. To answer that, you see, the job that my colleague and I do is that really we have been brought into council to look into the policy affairs of the council. But now we are compelled to do some micromanagement, which we are not mandated to do. However, we have to do it. We go into the systems and we have to, if we don't go in and micromanage to a certain level, then the council will not operate. So sure, we are maintaining the checks and balances, and the acquittals are kept in place, and it's all ready for view if it needs to be audited. Naka.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairman. I think we've been sobered, and our attitude is to make sure that these records and the way it is kept is transparent, and all that administrative process is in place now. And we note and underline that this refers to a historical time frame from 2016 to 18. But we are here now, and we've learned the lessons to do this, so it is important for us as special administrators at board level to ask for compliance to the records, which is the fundamental matter that was not adhered to and complied with in that particular day. So our attitude is sobered in that particular area. Proofs of existing loans and limitations and thresholds and so on and so forth. Currently, as we've said, that description by the chairman of the SA board will be only the second one, in our 3 years, I think, that has come up for this particular one. So in the historical past, we do get that these things were not properly managed from 2016, and our attitude is absolutely to fix this. So the evidence right now reflects that how we're serious about handling this. How often loan advances records audited, and can the council share the audit findings? So into currently, which we talk about, which reflects back to the past, as you can see, we've tightened up in this particular area in terms of compliance to its administrative recordings, how regularly it's brought up to the board for its information, and so on and so forth. So we do admit that in the past, which we were not there at that time, that there were gaps in this. But I think the point for us now is we're learning from this, and we are going to take care of it during our time in relation to this. There's a particular reference here. In 2018, the audit finding in staff advance balances was 1,520. And in 2019, the FS, this advance had been cleared in most cases, and salary reduction has been enforced there. So there has been some attempts to rectify the matter, really, is the fundamental point in this. From the board, we have not identified any major discrepancy at this time during these 3 years, and Mr. Naidu can speak to the period before these 3 years. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Next, we move to the another area concerning receipting and revenue collection. Again, this is an important area, absolutely, because the receipting is accountability of revenues and the revenue collected. Can council demonstrate the receipting systems used for revenue collection? So our system is manual receipting. So virtually no, automated systems are receipting. It's about receipt books, and the records are kept in the archives in Levuka. What evidence exists that segregation of duties is applied in receipting process? Sir, we do admit that this is a particular process. There needs to be segregation. One cannot do. It's separated for a very important reason. So it's receipted by the revenue collector. We do have a role called the revenue collector. And someone prepares the banking, and the banking is verified by the accounts clerk, a separate role altogether. One is a revenue collector, and one is an accounts collector. And there is separation of these functions for various obvious reasons. That is taking place also today. How does the council detect and prevent fraud, and what records support this? The council conducts monthly bank reconciliations to reconcile the receipts, banking, and what is recorded in the bank statements. Bank reconciliation statements support this. So there's a 4-point check system right there, which is manually being done presently. However, because of it being manual, and there could be margins of error up and down, we have to be doubly diligent at the board level to ask very direct questions concerning this and demand for evidences at that board meeting. So that's what we're doing today to try and arrest the anomalies of 2016 and 2018. Can council show reconciliations between receipts and bank deposits and the accounting records? The answer to that is yes, because we have the manual records that are there. We're not totally international practice yet, but the records are there. That requires resources to straighten up the manual record keepings and all that. We have limitations of capacity also for this, but it is a very necessary thing if our systems are manual to make sure that the records is properly kept, methodically kept, and systematically kept. So when the OAG officers comes, we can take them right there. But capacity and ability is a bit of an issue because of our narrow cash flow base in that regard.
Chair, through you, this record keeping, looking at the high staff turnover, this can be an issue unless the handing over is properly done. So, what is the council stand on as far as the handing over is concerned, so that records are not lost, when the staff leaves?
Through Chair, Honorable Member, that is a very good question. The continuity, from one person to the next, we are finding problems in the Levuka Town Council. Not only now, but through history. I'll give you an example. Not on the finance side, on the money side, but you see, we are the oldest municipality, or the first municipality in Fiji. We were very much attached to the monarchy. Even Queen Victoria herself came to Levuka in the early 1800s. And our office in the town hall is called the Queen Victoria Memorial Hall. And our wharf is called the Queen Victoria Memorial Wharf. Anyway, getting back to the town council, it was a town board during the early days, during the colonial days. And there were a lot of artifacts, a lot. During our school days, we used to go to the town council, to the town board, and after successions of people that manned the council, these artifacts have gone missing. It would be worth millions, not only for the Levuka Town Council, but Fiji as a whole, because it is all very much part of history. But it's gone, no longer there. The only thing that we can see that's standing there generally is the portrait of Queen Victoria and various other photos, the titles of various properties that that exists in our safe, and the actual safe itself. But the rest of the artifacts, the special chairs, the tables, the portraits, the other things that was of financial value has gone. So to answer that question, Honorable Chand, I must say that that part is very weak. And for the two of us, we can't we cannot take that role as a security to make sure that we are there day in, day out to see that nobody touches it. You see, so we have got a shortfall there, which I must admit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, through you. So what are the plans to strengthen that particular area?
Thank you, Honorable Chand, through Chair. Well, whatever resources that's left, whatever, during our time in our tenure, we make sure that we have a tight control in the affairs of the town council, because we know very well that the last man down are the two of us. And if there's any audit query, in the end, it'll come to the two of us. So we make sure, I mean, apart from that, as Honorable Maharaj had said, that because of the love of the town, that we are doing these things, we're taking on board ourselves. And quite a lot of the jobs that we do, we are not being paid for that. We're just doing it for the sake of holding our town together. That is the main reason. So we are trying our best, to the best of our ability, to make sure that that whoever is there or during our tenure, that the information or material information that is there is passed on exactly from one person to the next, so it's all accountable or accounted for. We make sure that the checks and balances are there to whatever meager that we've got left. Thank you, Your Chair.
Thank you very much, through the chairman. Again, just to reinforce this, because the question was also, in its nature, very specific. So there is a high turnover. We do admit this, and the PAC committee also appreciates this. When a person leaves, this is the starting point of this. During their tenure, their work, they've got to be very careful that within the scope of work, their inventory and responsibility is methodically registered and recorded. So that come the point when the handover starts, because they're leaving the organization, going to a greener pasture, that handing over is a particular vulnerable point in the system. And it is our responsibility to ask questions at this. So there is a handing over of all the inventories and everything else, and there is a receiving by the person coming in. Within this, if we're not careful, it falls within the gap. So our concentration, sir, is in this manual systems being handing over. Our attitude is in that area. If we don't, on accepting our responsibility, there will be problems. So our current attitude, learning from the past, is exactly as I'm stating it, sir. Thank you. Moving on, Phil, to the last part of this segment, what documentation confirms the reliability of electronic recording systems? Again, sir, this is assuming that we have an electronic. We don't have this. It's all manually receipted, sir. So at the macro level, looking from the top, our systems at the moment are all manual. We desire for an automated system. We're not there yet. We need your help, sir. On to the last section, sir, on management and governance.
Thank you, through Chair. On management and governance, at this point in time, there is a huge gap between the management and the governance, who are the two of us. There's a lot of gaps there. We do not get the proper information from the management to us, and simply because we do not have the right people there. They're not educated enough to provide us with the proper information. So there's a huge gap in there. To address this, we had earlier spoke about getting the right people there. So to get the right people into Levuka, we then need to pay them the right money. We need to give them the right allowances, etc. And we need to give them some perks to allow them to come. We have to entice them somehow or the other to ensure that they come in, and to make them forfeit the lovely living, so as to speak, in Suva, and go into Levuka and struggle maybe. But I don't think we're going to struggle, or they will be struggling, because once they come there, they get used to the conditions. They will like it. They will love it in Levuka. However, what I'm trying to say is that there is a gap. Definitely, the information that the management is giving the governance is not all there. So we generally get quite frustrated ourselves, because sometimes when the questions are posed to us, then we are lost. We cannot answer. We cannot answer because the information that the management is giving us is generally not correct. So that's where we stand, Honorable Chairman.
Pardon me. Thank you very much, sir. The bit that we are concentrating on is biased towards governance, which is our responsibility. And it may be worth repeating, and pardon me for this, that there are oversight structures. There is a full board at the very top. There are two board subcommittees there. And one board subcommittee is on finance and human resources, another is on operations and infrastructure. These are points of control. these are points of compliance and points of demand to find out what is happening at the management level. I think the chairman has adequately said that there are bits of issues with the management linking up with the board. Sometimes we don't have full disclosures, the disclosures sometimes have error in it, and so on and so forth. So I think the inference is if we have competent people there, the quality, integrity, and transparency of the advice to the board would be much, much better, sir. So again, we appeal to you for assistance in that particular regard. On to the second area, what reporting mechanisms can the council provide to show operational accountability monthly, quarterly, and annually? These are three time frames where reporting mechanisms come. The first one is monthly, the second one is quarterly, and the other one is annually. So we've observed that in the refinement of their work, the reportings are not clearly structured also. So we don't have, to our satisfaction, clear reporting by management in a monthly way, in a quarterly way, and an annual way. Our desire and our attitude is for that, and there are problems again at that particular level there. Competent people, properly supported resources will enable us to have, systematic, high integrity reporting on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. So it's a systematic problem. The system is, partially or probably in a major way to blame for this in terms of bank reconciliation reports, cash flow systems, and so on. And sometimes we call them and even demand them to tell us what the cash flow situation is, almost very regularly. So we note that there's a gap in this. We're trying our very best. It's remiss of them to fully advise us, and as a result, there are also gaps at the board level concerning this. Can Council present evidence of risk identification and mitigation strategies? So this begins at an operation area. I've looked at the risk management systems with this Council. It is not properly matured yet in relation to this. So we are currently working very hard at this. And if it is mature, then it would indicate very early, the early warning systems within the operational systems when they enable them, to signal. So it's an area that requires very basic steps: manual SOPs, compliance to the SOPs, regulating the SOPs in the supervisory level, and all that infrastructure. So we have, as we said, alluded to their challenges there, sir. On to the second last, what accountability measures exist for senior management decisions in this area? So by oversight, we demand accountabilities in the area, but when we seek those accountabilities and ask the hard questions of senior management, there are challenges there. Non-existence of the CEO office for 3 years now. High turnovers, we've just lost 2 staff. The building and health inspector just left December after being there for about 2.5 years. We've lost the acting CEO who's been absent there, and so forth. So that high turnover, you rightly said, Honorable Ham Chan, is a problem that we have to continuously monitor over. Currently is the experience. Finally, how does management ensure transparency in procurement and expenditures on this? Hand over to the chairman to say intro this bit in terms of procurements.
Sorry, Honorable Chair. Management at the Levuka Town Council ensures that transparency in procurement and expenditure through a combination of formal procedures, oversight mechanisms, and record-keeping practices that align with Fiji's Ministry of Local Government and Ministry of Finance requirements. In terms of transparency, this is ensured through implementation of tender process is followed, that the tender process is followed, documents is filed, the national procurement regulations are adhered to, internal control in processes, thus ensuring separation of duties and the processes of the audited system by relevant authorities. However, being said that, we ourselves have found that management does not adhere to this fully. And sometimes we are caught in the web that, hey, management, why haven't you followed the proper procedure? So then we have to go back and correct it. Everything that we do is all manual. Levuka Town Council, the two major deficiencies that we have is the quality of staff that we have right now, quality of staff, and secondly, what that leads to is the weaknesses in the information that they provide us, or the weaknesses of the procedures that they follow. So the procedures are really not followed in the way they supposed to be followed. Having said that, as I alluded on earlier on, that we are not there to micromanage the staff or the management, to tell them what to do on the day-to-day affairs, because that's not our job. However, there's laxity there, sir. Honorable Chairman, excuse me. Okay. Can you please allow me a couple of minutes to digress from this, if you?
Yeah, I was going to allow you had requested to talk more generally, so if you've exhausted the answers to the questions, we allow you time to speak freely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, for allowing me some time to just speak generally about Levuka, and which is very much part and parcel of Levuka Town Council, the municipality of Levuka. Then I will digress on to the island of Ulau and Lomoiviti as a whole. So, and honorable members, I must say that Levuka was a very thriving town. You know, in the early, right up to the late 1950s, Levuka was a very thriving town, because the transshipment of cargo for Southwest Pacific was all conducted out of Levuka, and hence the two major shops came up, or business hubs, the Morris Hedstrom Group of Company and the Burns Phillips Group of Company. And they generally bought copra from not only around Fiji, but Tonga and Tokelau and Southwest Pacific as well. The town was economically very stable, and we could, at that time, lots of people went through and did business there, and economically the town was operating very well. The economy was all-time high. Then it came a time when a person by the name of Tui Wipi, he decided to move the copra industry out of Levuka and bring it here to Edinburgh Drive into Suva. That man actually was cursed by all of us, all of our old people, that, you know, he took the bloodline or the lifeline out of Levuka, brought it to Suva. That then dwindled right down, brought the town right down to its knees. We were fortunate, at that time, we had the Commissioner Eastern's office in Levuka. We had Ratu Edward Dahumbau was the Commissioner Eastern. Ratu Mara was the DO, District Officer, and there were other prominent businesses or business people in town, especially Europeans, who got together, and they managed to entice the Japanese people, Ito and Nishihiro, to come to Levuka and set up the fish transshipment center. And in Levuka went through a lull period from about mid-50s to about 1964. It was really all time down. So when the fish factory came in and opened up in 1964, we started moving on up. And we then spiraled, rather than spiraling down, we were spiraling up. And economics came back, and Levuka started prospering very well. Having said that, sir, the Commissioner Eastern's office, or the district administration office in Levuka, played a big role. They were the leading agency there. Because of the district administration office being in Levuka, Levuka was the capital or the hub of the Eastern Division. So we looked after Rotuma, Lau, Lomaiviti, and Kandavu. However, Kandavu was geographically like it was out of the route into Levuka or Ovlau. But the others, Rutuma and Lomaiviti and Lau, they actually, comparing them to Suva as being the hub, from those islands you pass Levuka, then you come in here into Suva. So it was decided that the Commissioner Eastern's office or the district administration office be moved out of Levuka in about mid-1990s and brought into Knowledge Treaty and Suva. So when that happened, there was another economic crash. Levuka started dwindling down again. The interest in people investing in Levuka was not there. Levuka Town Council in record had about more than 250 ratepayers. Today, we were sitting at 140 or so, some 110 down. We are struggling with collecting the rates because quite a lot of the ratepayers have either died and gone or have moved on overseas and they're not paying their rates. So a big chunk of rates are held back. That's one part. But what I'm trying to say here, sir, is that the removal of the district administration office out of Levuka just brought Levuka back to its knees. Now, to bring the interest back, the solution to this is that the Commissioner Eastern's office has to be seriously thought of, taken back to Levuka. In my opinion, as I said earlier on, geographically, for ships to come in from those islands, Rotuma, you have to pass between Ovlau and Wakaya and then come into Suva. And for Lau, generally, from Moala, Matuku, Totoya, from the center and going up north and going south, you come through Ngau, and then next place, entrance is Levuka, and then Lomaiviti is Lomaiviti. So geographically, Levuka is all set to accommodate these people again. I mean the provinces, the Vanuas of these areas. The one that's not geographically set in there is Kandavu, which is out of the way down south. So if a paper could be done, to do another feasibility study by government, and I urge this honorable House, honorable members to assist us to see if something can be done, a paper could be made to do a feasibility study to see how the district administration office can be taken back to Levuka. This will be a big spin-off for Levuka, but not only for Levuka. Sir, I have been reading with interest for the last couple of years, and as of more recently, means and ways of ideas of trying to see how the population between the Suva and Nosori corridors, especially the traffic jam, how it can be solved, how a solution can be sought. In my opinion, we can play our part. Levuka can play its part. We need our people to come back. We have got a lot of our people who are moving out from the Lomaiviti province, and they are coming and they are even congesting the over-congested Suva to Nosori corridor. Even for me to come here this morning, I had to wake up at about 4 o'clock in the morning because I don't live in Suva, I live in Levuka, so I was just worried, what time I'm going to be here. We did not want to be late for this meeting. So we woke up very early to try and come in here. However, before, at about 6:30, we met up with a traffic jam at Lodala Beach, well above, before Lodala Beach. So one of the solutions, at least we can take away maybe a good percentage of people out from here back again, and we can at least help on that part to get these people back. Not only the traffic jam, but socially, people are not living in a proper condition here. The islands are getting empty. There's so much land to be used. The interest has to be put in there. This has to be a collective effort between all the ministries, sir. There's so much agricultural potential there. The land is so fertile. The planting of yangona and copra and animals. There's a lot of land there with very good grass and water, but no advantage has been taken for that. Everything is all centered around Viti Levu. Everything is centered around this already congested area. The question that I ask, sometimes is that why are we congesting the over-congested area? Why aren't we decentralizing and going back to the rural areas? The infrastructure in Levuka is there. The Commissioner Easton's house is there. The district officer's house is there. The Commissioner Easton's office is there. We just need a little bit of money to upgrade it, to get it back again. There's a lot of homes, government quarters that need some money to get them repaired and up and going. So it can be set again. There's a lot of junior officers who are occupying these nice homes. But nobody has really gone and seriously looked into this. The social impact in this is huge. You see, sir, part of the NCD problems is this, that when people come into Suva, they eat whatever they can to fill their stomachs. They don't see that they have a proper meal, looking at the proteins, the fats, and etc., carbohydrates. Whatever comes across, they eat that. But if they go back to their village or go back to their settings or to their homes, you have your boiled fish, you have your mbele, you have your tivoli or tapioca, and you got your miti, the best of the best food. So what I'm saying here, sir, is that we really need the district administration office to go back to Levuka, and it will be a solution. We live there, and then we know. As I speak, sir, apart from other things that we have done, and especially S.A. Nemani influence, we've got the University of Fiji based in Levuka, and now we are trying to entice our people in the Lomaiviti group that, hey, don't go into Suva and for education purposes. You can come to Levuka and join the University of Fiji. We at the Levuka Town Council have signed an MOU with the University of Fiji, and the University of Fiji has signed an MOU with the University of Bradford in London. And if someone wants to do a PhD, they can come to Levuka and do a PhD, or they can do it online. Say if you are in Koro or in Ngau, you can do your courses online, and then when you really have to come and sit for your exams, and then you can go over to Levuka and sit for exams. So these are the type of things that we're personally trying to do to get the place going. And just the two of us, between the two of us, we really cannot get the Lomaiviti festival back up and going. We cannot get the Easter races in Levuka going. We cannot get the centenary Suva to Levuka yacht race up and going. So these were the events that were happening and getting people really interested and making them happy to live in those places. All these things have moved out of that because the leader has moved out of that. The leading agency that was in Levuka has been plucked away from there and put into Nolly Street. So, I hope I'm not saying something overboard, but it's from my opinion, because I live in the town and I stay and I live in the province and I visit the province. I go to Korongau every week, and apart from other things, I declare my interest. I'm a seafarer myself, and 3 nights of the week I'm at sea, and 4 days I'm on shore. So I can see exactly what is happening out in the islands, and I can exactly see how we can correct it. I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but whatever experience that I have got through my so many years of existence, that I'm sharing with you honorable members. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Naidu, and do take your comments on board about the economic challenges facing Levuka, not only Levuka, the broader Olamaiviti province and group of islands, and also note your comments about the Commissioner Eastern offices. Just looking at, you're certainly correct that, there's agriculture potential in Levuka, in Ovalau. Tourism certainly is another potential, so airport access. I know the airport's been closed for quite a long time, and perhaps that might be looked at as a way of initiating travel. I know it used to be very popular for even government official travel. And then, I do note that, the Levuka is part of the tax-free zone regulations, but it hasn't quite fired up like the North has. The reason why the North is so active is largely certainly for the tax-free status. So but we do note your comments there. In terms of just a few questions from me. In terms of the staffing at the town council, how many people are in the council and how many are in the finance area?
Yeah, thank you very much. Right now, the people in the finance area are 2. There is the accountant and the accounts clerk. So there are 2. In the other aspect of how many people are in the council secretariat, we've just got the health and building inspector who sits within the council secretariat. There is the revenue collector who is also the council secretariat and services the board there. So in all, now there are just 4 people in
The whole town council.
for the whole town council in the office. And outside there are about 17 people operational there.
That includes garbage collection.
Correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. In terms of, I guess, given your challenges, then everything's manual. 2 sounds like a small number. I don't in terms of finance, but I guess that's something that can be looked at. We note that the accounts have only gone up to 2018. So I guess the question we'd like to ask is in terms of 19 onwards, how well positioned are you to provide information to the Auditor General to try and catch up? And if there are challenges, perhaps we can try and help in terms of those areas.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Chairman, for that question. We certainly need some help, but part of signing the MOU with the University of Fiji is that they will come in and assist us with our with preparing our financials. So we have got them on board, and they have started putting themselves, aligning themselves to us, and they will be starting to assist us from the end of this month or so. Okay. So to answer that, we have got some assistance from the University of Fiji. One of the main reasons why we, apart from the spin-offs of having the University of Levuka, at Levuka, for holding our people back on the islands, that's one. The other part is for the Levuka Town Council itself. We know very well that we are, that we are limited with the amount of resources that we got. So we have sought assistance of the University of Fiji, and they will come in and help us. Naka.
And I guess you're using the University of Fiji because you won't have to pay, and the MOU, is there a cost factor, or is it a volunteer basis? Or?
Yeah, thank you very much. One specific example is that we've been able to identify a free automated system. So what we're doing is we're loading all our manuals onto the system, and they have an oversight to straighten all these up, and it makes our auditing a bit easier. So that package is totally free. So the cost to us is minimal to nil, courtesy of that MOU. We had to look to an entity like that to help us and improve our capacity a bit, and that is what University of Fiji offers us, and it will assist. And we've seen that according to the plan to go forward from here, it's a bit speedier now, sir, because of this.
Okay. So just going back to the question of in terms of timing, are you able to provide to certainly the Public Accounts Committee? I'm not trying to trip you up here, because what we're trying to do is understand the nature of your challenge, and then perhaps if it requires additional resourcing, certainly from the local government side, my impression, I'll be very honest, is number one, the staffing of the finance area is a bit light, even for a very small operation. And number two, just from experience, when things are free, you generally have it's good, but there's generally some risks around it, because it's almost like voluntary. And so I'm trying to just flag that, maybe we'll try and see what public accounts can do is to just have a discussion with local government around how to help Levuka in terms of, sort of maybe in the reality is the budget for your manpower is just too small. And if we are serious about fixing the accounts, we need to resource it properly and not try and force each council to find a solution that maybe is not optimal. So we'll certainly circle back to that discussion. But just my impressions from I feel for you, because you're trying to do what you normally do to make money for your own living, and also try and help with the council affairs. And so we take note of the challenges there, and we'll try and see what can be done. One of the things too that I think I've like Raki Raki is a classic example of a small town council that's already got accounts up to 2021. So it'd be interesting if we invite the CEO from Raki Raki just to come over to Levuka to come and share what they're doing properly, and maybe that way we can get some quick solutions rather than trying to so there's some ways of some peer-to-peer sharing amongst the town councils possibly might be of some benefit. But in terms of I guess the one of the things that that like I think of all the opinions, this is the audited report. Just to let you know, of all the councils, the Levuka is in the last the 2018 accounts. There's actually a specific mention of weak internal controls, and these are the controls to manage the accounts. And certainly from the Public Accounts Committee perspective, we think that if the internal controls of each council is very well sort of resourced properly and managed properly, you end up delivering good financial statements. And internal controls is basically simple things like making sure you have more than one signatory to your bank account, making sure the person receiving the cash is different from the person paying out the cash. These kind of segregation of duties, and that kind of helps with and tendering, it's separating that people that tender from the people that make payments for procurement. So I guess that's probably something that as a council you'll probably need to deal with as you try and improve your financial reporting, is the internal control environment, and how you manage that, because it's very much a manual environment, and so the risk of documents go missing and all that are there, and so I'm hoping that we'll certainly try and encourage the Ministry of Local Government to speed up whatever they're doing to get the new system in, because I think it will certainly, it's not the end solution, but it's certainly a big component of what we're seeing in all town councils, which is a big delay in accounts reporting. In terms of investors into Levuka, right now you're seeing there's a slowdown in terms of in Levuka town. Are there any new like some of the big businesses in Suba, the Vinod Patels and whatever coming over, no? Or are you being the stopgap in terms of hardware and all that? Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. In the last couple of months, say 6 months on the rain, when Trump announced his tariff adjustments to Bumblebee, Bumblebee has now decided to pull out of Levuka altogether. So it's another dilemma for us. So that will bring us right down even further. The factory, PEFCO, was employing quite a lot of people, and with that sudden change, Bumblebee has decided to now pull out of Levuka and go and operate out of Chiapas in Mexico. So from Mexico into US, they get duty-free access. Mexico to US is duty-free. And from Fiji into US, there's two parts of it. One part is the preparation of loin, and the loins are then shipped to US, and Bumblebee has got a factory there where they process these loins into canned tuna, tin fish, and they put it onto the shelves. They have got, Bumblebee I think has got a competitor that operates out of Pango Pango, and they get, they do one process canning. So direct from the round fish that comes out of the ships, out of the longliners into the factory, made into tin fish straight away. But for us in Levuka, for Bumblebee operating out of Levuka, there's two processes that take place. Fish comes out of the vessels, it goes into the factory, they prepare loins. Loins are then shipped into US, it goes into the factory at Santa Fe Springs, and then it is made into tin fish over there. But for the last 28 years, prior to the announcement of this duty, of the tariff increase, Bumblebee enjoyed duty-free access into mainland US. So that enabled them to really get the place up and going. But unfortunately, to answer your question, no, there has not been anybody who has really shown any interest in coming to Levuka. Nobody, because it's even gone from bad to worse because of the fact that now we're struggling, and actually if some assistance can be given to the fish factory, PEFCO, from government, it will be a big help, because that is the only lifeline of Levuka. And if that goes, if that shuts down, then we all shut down. It will not work. So I know some works are being done on that. And but to answer the question on if anybody is interested in setting up in Levuka, at this point in time, no. Even if there's a tax holidays or tax breaks even to people, at this point in time, we haven't got anyone who has shown any interest in operating at Levuka. However, as I said earlier on, the potential is there, not only on Levuka, but the Lomaiviti group, the two major islands, especially with Koro and Ngau. There's a lot of land mass, and if the right sort of incentives are brought into our people there, then definitely the place will take off. Because we want to be part of the contributors to the national coffers in Naka.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions. I'll just check with the committee whether there's any other comments or questions before we run up.
Chair, final comments from my side, especially with regards to the tax-free zone. I think we as Public Accounts Committee, we need to look into it and provide some recommendations, because currently as it stands, there's a cap of $250,000. If there's an investment of more than $250,000 in Levuka, then only you get qualified to these tax incentives. The other thing, if it's an existing company that's trying to do more investment over there, they don't qualify. Thirdly, the issue is, for example, if a company goes there, the stocks and the salary of the staff is not part of that $250,000. So it's basically the infrastructure that is supposed to be developed. Now, talking about infrastructure, Levuka is a heritage site. You are not allowed to build anything new. So it's not in favor of Levuka Town Council in terms of, even though the tax holiday is given, but the condition placed by FRCS is not favorable for any investor to go and invest in Levuka. So this is another avenue that we need to look into and provide some recommendations specifically for Levuka Town, for the island of Overlau, for the investment to go to Levuka Town. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Naidu.
Yes, Honorable Chairman. I'd like to thank Honorable Elvik Maharaj for bringing that. It was one of the very important issues that I overlooked myself. Thank you, Honorable Maharaj, for bringing that. But I would like to say a couple of things about heritage. Yes, really, without proper consultation with the people of Levuka, the heritage, Levuka has been enlisted or had been enlisted into the World Heritage with UNESCO, and the rules and regulations are very stringent. We cannot develop. It's very strict. I think it has been watered down a little bit now that we haven't got the inspectors coming and checking us one by one. But a few years down the line, there was a person by the name of Mr. Bhatt, and he was sent by UNESCO to see that everything that we do is exactly to the code of conduct of UNESCO. However, they bring their rules and regulations, but they don't give us any money. You know, if they give us a cash flow, then of course we can abide by those rules and regulations. But we don't get any money from it. So what has happened is that quite a lot of people have just left their homes and taken off. Those homes have just crashed, and there's no more houses left. It's the historical homes that was built in the 1800s. That's all gone down to the ground. So that was on the bad side of, or the challenging side of heritage. Heritage, I must say, it's a good thing. I mean, if it is a good initiative. However, if it's done the proper way, if the manner in which they had marketed the heritage to our fathers and our grandfathers at that time, you know, in the early 70s, late 70s, towards early 80s, you know, in a layman's language, they were enticed to say there will be container loads of money that will be coming into Levuka, and Levuka will flourish. But it was so unfortunate; it just struck us like a bad luck that it just took us off guard, and here we are. So I'd like to thank Honorable Maharaj for bringing that subject in, which I had overlooked, Chairman Vinakawalevu.
Chair, just the last for me about the kava industry. It's really skyrocketing, thriving all over Fiji now. Levuka used to be a famous place for kava. Any impact on the economy of the town?
Thank you, through Chair. We have got a couple of kava producers on Overlau who are producing kava. But really the interest, you know, overall to get it up and going is not there. Like I've been saying all along, we've got no leader there. We need the leader. If the leader is there, as Commissioner Easton is there, then all the rest of the ministries will really fall under him. And he will be the one who will be pushing this across. One more minute, Chairman. You know, I take you back to history. When the Commissioner Easton was in Levuka, we had the ship, the Makungai was there, and various other government boats. We had then taking the education ministry, the agricultural people, the medical boats were there, the Voidake, the Nasi Alondina, and the Kapaiwai was there to take the administration people to Lomaiviti, Lau, and Rotuma, and etc. So they were all intact, you know, and the interest was there for people to plant, and the market was available. But all of that, like I was saying earlier on, has been pulled away, plucked away from us, and brought away here. So just to answer what Honorable Bode has asked, really, if we put a percentage of, say, 100 of a percentage, I think the interested parties that are planting Yangona there may be 5%. Vinaka.
Chair, through you, my last question. This is on the strategic plan for the council. I don't know whether I'm putting the question to the right people there, or should it go to the CEO? Is there a strategic plan that council has? And the second part of my question is on the development plan through which the ratepayers and the visitors to Levuka will benefit.
Thank you, Honorable M. Chand, through Chair. You know, all this will boil down to cash flow. When there's no money, we can't do much. So simply, I will tell you, sir, that there's no cash flow. That's where it ends. You give the money, we will run. We will show you. We can turn the town around. But we need resources, we need cash. But there's none right now, not enough. We just got just enough to keep it going. Naka.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just a bit more on that thing. we have had processes to try and theoretically come up with a strategic plan that links with the National Development Plan. So we understand that, and we're working with the university through the School of Business and Economics, that oversight and management to do that. But when that is done, it's just on paper. And then comes the operational part, the implementation of it, the actualization of it. And there is the challenge.
Honorable members and representatives from the Town Council and also the Auditor General, thank you for the very broad-ranging, illuminating discussion today on Levuka Town Council. Whilst clearly the focus is on delivering your financial statements up to date, and I think we do appreciate the broader challenges that are being faced by the town council. We'll certainly see how we can fashion that into certainly our report to the parliament. I think in a very broad sense, I think there are certain town councils that require quite a bit of investment because ultimately a very well configured town council can be an economic engine in itself. And I think when I look at Nasinu, Lami, they had bus stations, they had a few more items that are normally typically associated with the town council. You would probably see a lot more economic activity, and I'm pretty sure Levuka falls into that category. But certainly for the illuminating discussion, I think it perhaps from us on the government side warrants a deeper discussion in terms of budgetary strategy for the next financial year. In terms of perhaps some sort of rehabilitation package for the Levuka township, and certainly we'll try and float that idea as well. But on behalf of the committee members and the Secretariat and also the Auditor General, thank you to you, sirs, and also thank you to the Auditor General's office for being here. Like I said, we are keen to be solutions based, and clearly there are some challenges in Levuka, quite apart from the financial reporting. And be assured that the Public Accounts Committee will do what it can to support the initiatives of the Town Council. Thank you once again for your time today. You may have some additional supplementary questions that may arise after today's session, but with those concluding remarks, thank you all, and I now bring the public hearing session to a close.